quintessential power source within our industry. And yet, if you go up and down the line, it doesn't all look the same at all. And so when there's a voice that comes out of there, it doesn't, I mean, there are power differences at every single level.
And the things that
a
you're
powerful.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And I don't know a way to build a culture of accountability without participation.
I agree with that.
Right. You know, like, I don't know, like, it can't be the folks in power decide we're gonna have a culture of accountability, right? And so how do we decide what well, they maybe have, right? Different way. But what are the conversations we need to have to build a culture of accountability?
Yes, I wanna clarify that, I hope that no one walked away with that as the interpretation. What I mean is that without those that, whether they are perceived to be in power, whether they are, whether they're deemed to be, if they are not a part of the conversation, the burden is relegated to a select few.
Absolutely.
And then there is an
Yep.
ultimate level of exhaustion that comes into place, and that whole notion of what hardens you, I think that the sadness, there's a sadness that I'm witnessing as we get into more and more years of engagement, and we see what that does. We see what that does to one another, to our peers. I mean, when I hear you, Jeffrey, speak about the communities you serve, your experiences, I was that child, you know, growing up in Newark, New Jersey, and I'm thinking, who not only understands my story, who even cares? And so what I'm saying is that, how do we build this measure of, this is not a compromise. There is no compromise to the engagement. It has to be, because of the need for inclusivity and recognition that all experiences matter.
And so, again, I definitely do not have the answer to that. What I would say out loud, I know.
We would bottle it up.
Exactly.
I want my money back too.
But what I would say is, we work really hard in our projects, and again, you may need to translate this to your context. We work really hard in our projects to make sure those who have positional power are part of the process as we go, or at least we try to do a really good idea up front for what are our parameters. But the project that I've worked on where this worked out the best, the people who had fiduciary responsibility, the board members, and this was federal fiduciary responsibility, were in every part of the work. They were in our work groups, they were in our core team, they were on the board. Like, so no decision got to the board that they hadn't been a part of. And so the board okayed every single one of our decisions, right? There's something about our desire for how things should be that can make us not strategic about how things are. And so working with power intentionally and not painting with a broad brush, right? Like, so that's the thing that I've learned from senior leaders is, like, when we just say power as if it's something out there, we're less resourceful and skillful in dealing with power. And so how do we begin to actually, this idea of accountability not coming from top down, but within, and what are the conversations that we need to be in to build that culture of accountability?
Can I ask a